Coming up on TekThing, there's a new Raspberry Pi, and yes, it's faster. Anker Zolo Liberty Plus wireless headphones. Are the new unlimited data plans really worth it? And are they really unlimited? Your backup tips and more, all coming up on TekThing. Thank you, patrons. Without your support via patreon.com/TekThing, we wouldn't be able to make the show for you each and every week. Join the crew that makes TekThing possible at patreon.com/TekThing.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we have something useful in every single show.
Today we have a lot of fruit.
Yes, we do, and I'm super hungry, so I feel like we shouldn't talk about fruit, but we should talk about computers.
Okay, Pi Day this week, right? That's the launch day of the Raspberry Pi. Pi Day means new Raspberry Pis, at least in the last several years. And, you know, it looks, where is it? Like a Raspberry Pi 3, but the Pi 3 Model B Plus.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Look, there's a heat spreader.
Ooh.
There's thermal control on the chip.
They put it, let me see that.
Here.
They put a heat sink on it?
Well, in any case, the Pi 3 Model B Plus has a faster processor with a heat spreader. That's what Shannon's staring at so intently, with a 1.4 gigahertz Broadcom BCM2837. Did you lick my Raspberry Pi?
I bit it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So basically the same quad-core A53 ARM V8 64-bit system on a chip, except running at 1.4 gigahertz instead of the previous 1.2 gigahertz. The big bump in this model, though, is really networking. The Model B Plus brings 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz 802.11b, GN, and AC wireless, and Gigabit Ethernet over USB 2.0.
Wow.
Before you get too excited about Gigabit Ethernet, it's going to be, the maximum throughput is going to be about 300 megabits per second, theoretically.
And that's because it's USB 2.0, correct? Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who are hacking Raspberry Pis with external Gigabit adapters over USB 2.0, so now you save yourself a USB port.
Yay.
So in any case, this is a nice step up from the 802.11n in wireless LAN and 10/100 megabit per second LAN speed in the previous models. Check this out. Figure 3x better performance from the Ethernet jack on the Pi 3 B Plus compared to the Pi 3. Seriously, on some network tests, I was getting 155 megabits per second on the Pi 3 B Plus versus 55 megabits per second on the Pi 3. This is good.
Yes.
The Pi 3 B Plus also packs Bluetooth 4.2/BLE, up from Bluetooth 4.1. That, you know, they're both of them were Bluetooth Low Energy. The 4.2 primarily adds some IPv6 features that you may or may not be excited about. And I know what Shannon's thinking right now. How much faster is that 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor?
How much faster is it?
Running Sysbench, which is basically a simple open source multi-threaded CPU benchmarking tool.
Very
just
useful.
The CPU. It is actually. The Pi 3 took 95.5 seconds. The Pi 3 B Plus, 80.3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'd call that about 16% faster.
Yeah.
Which is not as
definitive
huge.
increase.
Absolutely. Now, you know, going from like the Pi 2 to the Pi 3 was a much bigger bump. But this is close to, you know, I can round up 16 to 20, right?
Right.
That's pushing it. You know, that's a nice bump. And I gotta say, don't cheap out on the power supply. On the original Pi 3, or especially the Pi 3 B Plus, I'd use at least a 2 amp power supply. Of the official 5 volt Pi power supply unit is 2.5 amps.
Right, yeah.
If you do not run enough power to this, for example, the power supply.
Did it come with this?
They sent it out with this. This was sent
nice.
to me by the Raspberry Pi organization for testing and promotional purposes.
Got it.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have it because it's not for sale yet.
Yeah.
But it was pretty crazy because a power supply that did just fine with Raspberry Pi 3 was the entire unit would start computing and then it would black out.
I see.
You know, you get at least a 2 amp power supply. 2.5 amps would be better.
Good to know.
And apparently, there's going to be a new power over Ethernet hat for the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B Plus, so you can power it over Ethernet, which is really, really cool. And the wireless LAN on the Model B Plus comes with modular compliance certification. So if you're thinking about getting through FCC certification on a product, you don't have to deal with the AC type stuff if you implement the wireless built into the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B Plus.
That's super exciting. Now, I do have a question for you. Can you use this on a desktop?
You know, if you're not video editing, if you're not used to blazing fast
surprise
PCs,
there. Yeah.
You know, personally, I'm loading up Volumio and Plex on this one.
Okay.
You know, but I was using it. You know, I was laughing because I was switching between my primary desktop, which is an AMD Radeon 1800X, which has all of the processing power, and the Raspberry Pi, which is and when I was like web browsing and stuff, it wasn't an issue.
Yeah. That's usually
But
not a
you've
problem
gotta-
with the Raspberry Pis.
It's got kind of a stately progression, like when you're browsing in a bad network on
Okay.
an older mobile phone, and you're like, yeah, pages is loading. I mean, it's taking that long, but it's
Yeah.
just not instantaneous response.
Okay.
I should spend more time working with it as a desktop. If I was really
Yeah.
brave, I'd use it as my primary desktop for a week, except for the video editing stuff, because that would take a year.
So it sounds like the Raspberry Pi B Plus is still really good for like projects.
Yes, I think it's its primary. Like almost all the single board computers are best used when you're like, a Volumio player. People use them for remote sensing units. Bluetooth 4.2 will apparently do IP conversations or communications with sensors.
Really?
Over like Bluetooth 4.2. So that could be
That
something.
could be
to
really useful.
I'm going to stop because I'm excited. As far as I know, it's going to be selling for the same $35 price on Amazon, and you should
Super
be
exciting.
able to try to pre-order one since they usually sell out when they first come
They
out.
sell out instantly. So I'm very thankful that Raspberry Pi has sent us one that we can
you.
test, and hopefully we can do some really cool build projects with it as well. So if you want to see anything with the new Raspberry Pi, let us know. We would love to check it out more. Ask at TekThing.com, of course.
I have a product review that turns old speakers
Yeah.
into wireless speakers with a Raspberry Pi.
Oh,
with built-in
yes.
amplifier. We'll talk about that next
Perfect.
week.
Very, very cool. And at TekThing on Twitter as well, you can ask your questions there. We would love to shout them out on the show.
We're listening. The crew over at Anker, we started loving their cables, then we loved their USB power supplies and their portable batteries, and then they started coming up with things like the Rove Viva Alexa powered car charger, which is still talking back at me in the front seat of my truck. And now they have wireless Bluetooth, truly separated earbuds. You took a chance, you took the Zolo Liberty Plus earbuds. Cute.
What? I can't hear you.
No,
I'm
no, no, she
currently
can hear me.
wearing my Zolo earbuds.
Well, okay.
Okay, that was nerdy. Sorry, guys.
That was, well, the problem is that they don't really block out any external noise, but that's a whole other conversation. So there's the AirPods,
Right.
which are expensive and
Yes.
don't fit in my ears. There's Google's
See, those ones do
earbuds,
fit in my ears.
which are atrocious. It's good. Yeah. See, you're part of the 90% they fit. Google's wireless earbuds are horrible.
I haven't tried those ones yet.
Don't. Just,
Not worth it? Okay, good to know.
so these are actually, I mean, we've seen some like $300 sort of true wireless earbuds. These
Right.
are selling for $150.
Yeah, so if you check them out over on Amazon.com, which is the only place that you can currently get them at, they are $149.99 and they come in either white or black. Basically, these are supposed to be truly wireless earbuds. So they last up to 3.5 hours of playback time, which I was able to test on a flight, which was awesome, and then 48 plus hours with this case. So this case works as a rechargeable battery for the earbuds that you just plug in inside of it.
You said you got 3 hours typically listening to music and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, typically about 3 hours before they would die on me.
And then what, 3 hours of charging and you get to use them again?
No, luckily they only take about 15 minutes to charge for 1 hour of playback, which is not bad at all. So to charge them, all you have to do is after you're done listening to them and they die on you, you stick them into the case and they have little fitted formations where they fit. And then all three of the little lights on the front will glow white and lets you know that it's at 100% battery. And then again, it takes that 15 minutes to recharge them for an hour, which is actually really quick for charging so that you can use them for that whole hour. And they do come with their own micro USB charging cable. It's a nice braided yellow cable. It's very fancy. It matches the whole Zolo brand, which is adorable. It comes with the case. There's 3 different ear tips for each of the
Small,
earbuds.
medium, large?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also 8 extra jackets. So there's 4 jackets per earbud.
Jackets.
So yes, jackets. And I'll show you a close-up of what these look like. But basically, if it doesn't fit your ear very well, or if you need to change these out because they get too dirty, you can take off this jacket and you can install a new one on it.
It's an earbud condom, people.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but it's basically that.
I went there.
So these are Bluetooth 5.0. They are the first ones that use Bluetooth 5.0, which means that they have less delay and less dropouts than older Bluetooth models. And supposedly it's also more secure as well, but I'm gonna wait until some hackers get their hands on these around like DEF CON time to make that determination, because right now I don't have all the technology in place to test Bluetooth 5 against all my hacking
Theoretically,
tools.
it should be more secure.
Bluetooth 5 is more secure. So these Zolo Liberty Pluses also come with immersive sound with graphene technology, and graphene is
basically the stuff the driver's made out of. It's
Yeah.
really, really stiff. It's really, really light. It's all over the place these
Basically,
days.
yeah. They are very, very light, which is great. Supposedly, they're 100 times stronger than steel. They're also IPX5 sweat-proof, which means that if you sweat all over them, if you're working out, you're not going to get like you're not going to get bolted with some energy in there.
Well, or just aren't going to short them out.
Or you won't short them out, exactly.
So, okay, let's talk about ear fit issues.
Yeah, let's talk about that, shall we? So I had a lot of issues fitting these in my ears. However, I'm not going to yell at Anker or Zolo for this because I think it's my ears. Because everybody else who has tried on these specific ones that I was using did not have any issues with them. So luckily, when you put them in your ears, the guide that you get with them, the manual, it comes with information on how you lock them into place. You basically turn them and then you lock them into place in your ear canal.
The classic twist and rotate insertion.
Exactly.
It's so odd.
Yes, the rotate. Except I wasn't that hard with them. Maybe I should be. But they are just way too big for my small ears. So
even with the smallest tips?
Yes, even with the smallest tips. I tried the large tips to kind of stuff them in there, but that didn't work either. So I was just having a lot of problems getting them in my small ears. However, if you can get them in there, everybody told me that they are very, very comfortable. And they aren't heavy, so they don't weigh you down or anything like that. And they do come with those removable rubber tips and covers. So if you get them dirty, you can always replace them if you need to. When I was moving between the smallest and largest options, that really didn't help me. And I think I just have awkward ears. It's the strangest thing. I blame my mom, who's currently watching us do this show live. Hi, Mom. So, Patrick, I know that you tried these on as well, and you tried different tips. So I wanted to know what you thought of them, too.
So I think it was the medium tip that worked out to fit in my ear canal and get a good seal.
Yeah.
And earbuds are one of those things where if you don't get a good seal, you'll think the earbuds have no bass.
Exactly.
And partially, I think I was laughing because you are a bass head.
I am a bass head.
And you're like,
it's true.
You're like, you're listening to EDM and you're like,
yes, exactly.
And I was listening to some of my test tracks, going like, wow, somebody turned the bass knob.
They
all
cranked
the way
up the
on
bass.
this.
Totally.
What I was surprised is how little background noise they cut out, but that's also because they have a pass-through audio option.
Exactly, yeah. So I kind of had the same feels as you. When I was able to get them in there and I held them at the point where they were in there correctly, it was very, very bass heavy, which I personally really enjoy. Sometimes the mids or the highs got a bit less clear to me. I don't know if you felt the same way, but for example, I was listening to the Beatles, like some Flax that I have, and I had that issue where it didn't sound like they were as clear as they should be.
This is a case where they have marvelous technology in Bluetooth 5.0 and they're wireless, and that's super keen and neat. But if you want a really fantastic set of earbuds, like buy a set of one more triple drivers, spend $50 less and deal with a cable. These are mostly awesome because they're wireless.
Yeah, totally.
The audio's
it's decent.
This is a
I
great
like bass, so I really enjoyed
set
them.
of earbuds.
They do get rather loud, so I did find myself turning down the music pretty often, and they do a good job of keeping the music in your ears so you aren't distracting your neighbors. In fact, when you were wearing them, I didn't notice it coming from you, for example.
That's a big plus.
Yes, and Anker is using those 6mm graphene drivers for the earphones as well, so whether or not you like that, it's up to you. The earphones each have physical buttons on them, which you click to sync them or toggle that sound isolation, or you can activate Siri and Google, which is kind of cool. So sound isolation is the thing that you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, and also, one thing I noticed, it would be nice if there was a much more tactile feel to these buttons. These are like the mushiest buttons I've ever dealt with.
I noticed when I was clicking on them while they were in my ears, obviously your ears are going to press back too, so I couldn't tell how many times I was clicking it. And I was like, ah! So a few times I had to click it a few times to get it to, sync with Google or whatever I was trying to do. So to toggle the sound isolation, which is one of the options, you hold down on either of them for 3 seconds. It's kind of cool, you can use either one, which is great. Whenever you're in a loud environment, like I was in a cafe, the music gets softer and the audio from conversations around you, it comes through. It's clear, but it's kind of robotic in a way, which is interesting. Whenever you toggle it, though, the music is louder, the audio from the environment is not as noticeable. However, it doesn't block out all of it. So you are still going to notice a lot of things going on around you, which might be a good thing if you're like running next to a road or something like that.
So you're in the cafe, somebody walks up to you and goes, "Would you like me to refill your coffee?"
Yeah.
Could you actually hear them?
You Not really if you don't have it on. So all I heard was like my bassy music. If I do turn it on, then I can hear them, but they're kind of robotic. So keep that in mind. If you just want to listen to music all day and ignore people, then good for you. You know, you're ready to go. So it's kind of cool isolation. I could still hear my coworkers talking and stuff like that. You can also double tap to activate Siri or Google Voice Assistant, which is really cool. But oftentimes I found that this did not work for me. It was kind of buggy whenever it was paired to my Android phone. I could click on it and ask a question, but it wouldn't hear my question. Or I would click on it and I would activate Assistant and ask it weather or something while watching a YouTube video, and then it would pause the video, fine, but when I restarted the video, it created this odd problem where the videos would not play without having lag anymore, so I would have to restart my phone. So that was kind of annoying, and I don't have that issue if I'm using Google Assistant just handheld on my phone. That makes me think that there's some issue with Bluetooth and activating it and keeping the YouTube video paused and not having it start correctly.
Sounds like something to fix in a firmware update.
It was very weird. So they also have a mic that's built in too for taking calls with them on, and I was pleased with the results. I had no problems hearing a caller, and they had no issues hearing me. For example, I talked to my mom a couple of times on the phone, which she did not know I was using the Zolo Liberty Pluses.
That's a good thing.
Keep in mind though, there are no replaceable parts currently available, so if you lose the case, or if you lose one of the earbuds, or if you need to get additional accessories, you're kind of screwed at the moment. So I'm hoping that they will include additional accessories at some point in time.
So don't lose the case.
Yeah.
Don't lose an earbud.
Yeah.
And don't lose the earbud tips.
Right.
Don't lose the earbud jackets. Or you're buying another $150 set of earbuds.
And lastly, I noticed that some people online were saying that they noticed some lag whenever they were watching videos. I didn't have this issue, so I asked Patrick to check it out on his iPhone to see if it was an Android versus iPhone issue, because a lot of reviewers were iPhone users.
Yeah, no problems with my iPhone 6S-ish. I was watching Netflix videos and I want to say Netflix videos and Amazon Prime videos. No lag there. I wonder if the people who were having those issues in some cases somehow triggered that mode you ran into, like they pressed the button a couple too many times and all of a sudden it was trying to do the voice assistant.
Yeah, that's totally possible.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Meh. Awesome. I mean, I love bass heavy sound quality, and the durability is great on these. The reliability of this Bluetooth 5 technology is great. My personal comfort problems aside mean that I can't personally buy these and be happy with them because they won't fit my ears. They still have some kinks to work out, like offering spare parts and having those mushy highs, which I think they could probably fix in future versions of this, being a part of that. So it's kind of
Thumbs
a yay
middle?
or nay. Yeah, I would say thumbs middle. If you like bass, go for it. If you don't like bass and you prefer those highs and mids, I would say, nah, probably not. So let me know what you think, and if there's other Bluetooth products on the market that you would like me to check out. I don't have a headphone adapter anymore or a headphone jack on my phone, so I feel like I gotta buy some, which kind of stinks, but at least we're getting some options.
True wireless earbuds, it seems like they're still really early. And
It does.
It's, they're better than Google's. Got a question? Curious to see us review something on TekThing? Got a tip or an idea? Fire them out to ask@tekthing.com, please. Or you can tweet at TekThing, at Snubs, or at Patrick Norton. And hey, if you want to be part of the crew that makes TekThing possible, please contribute to the show at patreon.com/TekThing. Thanks to our patrons, the show is possible. Y'all feed my children, which I appreciate.
So I have been using Google Fi as my carrier of choice for the longest time, for several years actually, and recently they introduced new unlimited plans for the year of 2018. And I was thinking to myself, is this still a good option for me, or should I look at the new ones? So I wanted to do a segment today based on my single person usage, but I'll mention family usage as well for all the major carriers in the market.
I just want to say I'm delighted that Google's offering you more data.
Me too!
Well, this has been funny because I guess Google Fi charges you by the gigabyte.
Yes.
And then that's made you loath to ever use your wireless data.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I've got like 25 gigabytes. I'm like, I'll upload that 3 gigabyte video from CES. And you're like, I don't want to watch YouTube on my phone.
Right, I'm like, oh, it's going to cost me $30 extra this year to upload that 3 gig data or whatever.
Well, okay, so you wanted to talk about the competition first and then
Yeah.
about what Google Fi is doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to just give y'all a run over of all the different ones that you can have now in 2018, because I was looking through it and apparently all of them have changed their pricing models for 2018, which, guys, come on, carriers, stop changing everything. It screws me up and confuses everybody. So,
Every time they
but
change
maybe
it,
it's a
they
good
make you
thing.
switch, and then they get to do more stuff. In any case.
So moving on, we're going to start with T-Mobile, which you can see over here on my computer. Basically, what you get is a $70 unlimited option with, get this, 480p video streaming. And you can read that right here in the small print, video at DVD quality, 480p. Now, with that $70, you also get a 3G hotspot data option, so you can use a hotspot at 3G speeds. You also get those LTE speeds throttled over 50 gigs. So that LTE speed is for everything that you would normally do.
But if I connect my laptop to my T-Mobile plan, it's going to be
Yay,
at 3G
hotspot.
speed.
Yeah, it's going to lower it. Yeah, that might not be very fun for most people. Now, for $10 more, you do get T-Mobile One Plus, which includes HD streaming. Now, if you prefer HD streaming, which I do, then you would probably end up spending about $80 per month on that. Now, one of the good things about T-Mobile, which I've known about for several years, and they still have this, is international usage. So if you fly overseas all the time, or if you go to like Japan or whatever it might be, international usage is included with regular unlimited speeds up to that 50 gigs.
So you won't end up with those amazing $2,000 data bills if you travel to
Yep.
Great Britain or Germany or Mexico. Or, okay.
Yep. Although you're probably going to notice a little bit of slowdown internationally. Obviously, that's going to be an issue with most carriers. So moving on, next we have Verizon. So if I go over to Verizon's website, you'll see this one that's like, now starting at $40. Yeah, but that's for 4 lines. So Verizon offers $85 unlimited options. These come with HD video streaming, 15 gigs of LTE hotspot data, so you're getting LTE speeds instead of 3G for hotspots, but it also gets throttled after 22 gigabytes. So if you need that 50, you're probably better with T-Mobile, but if you only need like 22 gigs, then you're probably better with Verizon if you want to spend that kind of money. They also have a $75 per month option with SD streaming and a throttled hotspot, and it's just throttled the entire time. There's no like limit to that or anything. It's just completely throttled. Verizon does offer still those non-unlimited options as well, which is something like my husband currently uses one of those because he doesn't use a lot of gigs, and overseas usage is still going to be extra. So if you fly a lot, Verizon might not be the best option for you. Moving on, then we have Sprint. Does anybody out there still use Sprint? I'm wondering. So Sprint offers $60 per month unlimited with HD video streaming, 10 gigs LTE hotspot data, but music streaming, strangely, is capped at 1.5 megabits per second, and speeds get throttled after 23 gigs. So close on the throttling speeds to Verizon, but random that they're throttling music at 1.5 megabits per second.
I'm sure they have a reason.
What's your reason, Sprint? Tell me.
Let it go.
And international, still extra with them. And then we have AT&T, good old AT&T, which was my very first carrier after they bought Singular. So sad. AT&T offers $80 per month unlimited plans with HD video streaming, 15 gigs of LTE hotspot data, very similar to the others, but speeds get throttled after 22 gigs. That's also very similar except for T-Mobile, which is still beating everybody as far as throttling. They also offer a $65 option, so a little bit cheaper, with video streaming capped at 1.5 megabits per second, which is, I don't know about that. No thank you. And no mobile hotspot. So if you do the hotspot all the time, you don't want that $65 option. And then that overseas usage, again, is extra. And now we move on to Google Fi, which is my carrier of choice for many reasons. But this is their new unlimited plan. It's called Bill Protection, and they say make savings twice as sweet. I love the little picture graphic. It's so cute. But they only offer one plan. It's $20 for talk and text, and then $1 for each 0.1 gigabyte that you use. So if I scroll down to this nifty little graphic that they have, stop moving, you'll notice that as I move up, so 4.1 gigs right here is going to cost me $61. If I use 4.2, or 4.3, for example, it'll be $63. So you can see that it increases over time. You don't use any, if you don't use a certain amount of gigs, you're not going to pay for that certain amount of gigs.
Okay.
So if I only use 6 gigs, that's all I'm going to pay for, which is actually very, very nice
Okay.
if you don't use a lot of gigs. The nice thing is that after 6 gigs, anything is going to be free. So any gigs used after 6 gigs is free. So it ends up being an $80 unlimited plan after 6 gigs of use, and then they throttle after 15 gigs.
Okay.
I know you were about to ask about throttling, right? Yeah.
Right.
If it was just unlimited forever, that'd be amazing. I'd be like,
That'd
yes!
be the bargain of the century.
HD stream all the things, woo!
So you hit the 15 gigabytes and we're what, throttling to 128 kilobits per second or?
Good question. 256.
Okay, so not as awful as some of the other carriers out there, but
Still terrible.
You're gonna notice a drop in performance.
Yeah, exactly. You still get HD video streaming, there's LTE hotspot data, all of that is included in that same data allocation, and international usage is also included with the same pricing model. So if I go to Japan, they're not going to increase my price or anything. I'm still going to be under that same pricing plan.
And the thing we should point out now is with these new plans, and this started about, I want to say about a year ago, you get X amount of data, it's unlimited, and then they cut you off. And for somebody who's a heavy data user like I am, or let's say you spend a lot of time traveling and you need to use your phone tethering, it means you are, to use a highly technical term, SOL, kids ask your parents, no, don't. If you run out of data, right? Because it used to be that I could go through 15 gigabytes of data and then I could buy another 5 gigabytes of data.
Right.
Now AT&T's like, no, once you've used your data, we're going to throttle you. And you have no recourse other than buying an additional package. Because, and I talked to Sasha Sagan about this a while back, and he's like, they don't want heavy data users.
No, they don't.
You know, what they do is they want to get people to switch because you're getting unlimited data now, except it's not unlimited. You get this many gigabytes, and then you get a little tiny pipe.
Yep.
So what happens when we start looking at unlimited plans for multiple lines?
So unlimited plans are fun. You're sharing a line for multiple people. So if you have, like, for example, you have a family of 4, if you wanted to give your kids cell phones, totally go for it if you want, but then you would be able to split up the cost basically amongst 4 different people. So starting with T-Mobile, if we check out my computer over here, I love that all of these websites start you at the 4 lines thing because it looks so cheap, but in actuality, if you're just one person, it's $70. But if we move it over to the 2-line plan, it's $60 per line for 2 lines, and then up from there. So $60, $47 per line, and then you get $35 per line. And it's the same kind of data allocation rates that you'll see with that T-Mobile plan, and this is for the one that's $70, not the one that's $10 more for the One Plus.
So basically, you get 25 gigabytes split across 4 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay! So fun. Verizon has a similar pricing model for multiple lines. Their cost $65 per month for 2 lines for the SD streaming version, or $80 for 2 lines for the HD streaming version. Fair pricing, and then of course it goes up from there. You have 4 lines, for example, which is $40 and $50 per line. Sprint, which doesn't give you a nice breakdown on their website, but basically it's 2 lines, cost $100 total, which is the cheapest that I have seen. However, it is Sprint. Sorry, I'm hating on Sprint, but I grew up in Missouri where they did not have very good coverage at all. And then lastly, we have AT&T. Their plans vary on price depending on the amount of users, starting at $75 per line, which is rather expensive, or $60 per line for their Unlimited Choice Enhanced. So obviously, the one that you want with HD video streaming is going to be the $75 per line. Right. Lastly, of course, we have Google Fi. Their data is free after shared 10 gigs for 2 lines. So if I change this from 1 person, do the drop down to 2 people, you'll notice that 10 gigs is the limit. So you stop getting charged per gig at 10 gigs, and that is shared 10 gigs. And it's 135. And if we keep on increasing, you'll notice that right here, additional data is slowed, but still free for the rest of the month for anyone who goes over 15 gigs on your plan. Now, when you hit that 15 gigs, that is based per line.
Oh, nice.
So if we were on a shared plan, for example, you hit 15 gigs and I didn't, yours is going to be slowed.
So Google Fi sounds like an amazing deal, but there's kind of a catch because Google's making their money someplace else.
Yep. Yes, they are. Yeah. See this phone? It's a Pixel XL. Pixel 2 XL. Yeah, that's one of my only options that I can use on Google Fi. If I want to buy a Samsung Galaxy S9, which is such a beautiful phone, I've seen the reviews and I'm so jealous right now, I can't buy it. So I'm stuck with my
Well, you can buy
Pixel.
it, you just can't use it with Google Fi.
I can't use it on Fi, so what's the point? But yeah, if you check out my computer right here, you can get the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL, the Pixel XL, and the Android One Moto X4. Or you can use like an old Nexus with it if you wanted to.
If you can find one.
If you can find one, yeah. I might still have one laying around in my garage because they were amazing. So I guess we should ask which one is the best for 2018. Obviously, I still prefer Fi because of the included international data plan at no additional cost, which is amazing, especially when I fly for a convention to Australia or go to Japan on vacation, which I wish I was going this year, but I'm not. And because sometimes I just stay on Wi-Fi for most of the month, so it's way cheaper for me because I'll only use 2 gigs. And then I'm paying basically $30 or $40 for my plan as opposed to just paying $80 even though I didn't use all of those gigs. But if you use lots and lots of gigs, lots of data, Verizon might be the most expensive option for one person. Sprint is cheapest, but with that said, Sprint may not be in your coverage area. They weren't in mine when I was first looking around. Verizon was, so I went with Verizon several years ago. So it really comes down to where you're living, what kind of coverage you have, because coverage is still spotty even though it's 2018. I mean, I can relate to that because I have Google Fi. Sometimes it's spotty, but it works over here, so it works well for me. What do you have?
AT&T.
And it works?
It works.
Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere. Not as fast as Verizon. Verizon has better coverage. AT&T and Verizon both work incredibly well in the big empty areas in between the big cities, which is why I use those.
So if you have any questions about data plans right now, since I have been researching my bum off to find out which one is best for me now, definitely let us know. Or if you have any additional concerns that you would like to share about different carriers, I would love to hear those as well. Since I have been on Google Fi for a long time, there may have been something that I missed, so I would love to know. Comment below, or you can email us, ask@tekthing.com, or you can tweet @TekThing.
Please do. Jake, aka Get Back Up Again 1, tweeted at Patrick Norton asking for the 15-year-old sitting next to me, if you were wanting a dedicated gaming PC, would you build your own or buy one off the stock? Pound never built one, pound he thinks she can.
Oh.
No, he thinks he can. He thinks she can. He thinks he can. In any case, if you've never built a PC, build it.
Yes.
It's more complicated than Lego.
It's so much fun.
It is so much fun. And with PC Parts Picker, or you go to the PC Per Leaderboard, there are so many people out there who will help you put together the best system you can. The one problem is that the cost of GPUs is painful.
Yeah, that's very true. I believe I built my first computer when I was 9. Was I 9, you think? Yeah. Yeah, Mom says I was about 9 years old, so I think that's about the right time. But yeah, 15-year-old, yeah, that's a perfect time for that.
Yeah, you may never build one again, but everybody should build a computer at least once because it gives you an idea of just how it all comes together. And
it's worth
on
it.
The operating system, you can leave the drivers running, and it's fun.
Yes, it's very, very fun.
Oh my goodness. And we got a ton of responses from our backup special a couple weeks ago. One that I particularly like from @ScruffyDan. He tweets, I use Arc Backup for both local and offsite backups. It works very well, runs on Mac OS and Windows. It backs up to multiple cloud providers, including the ultra cheap Backblaze B2 and local drives with ease.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and if you've never seen that, it's actually arqbackup.com.
Okay.
And they have a free trial up on the website. Back up your Mac or PC to your Amazon Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, Amazon Web Services S3, Glacier, Google Cloud, SFTP, or NAS.
Oh, your NAS?
Or your NAS.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so but one of the things where people like, you know, I cannot use Crash Plan. I liked all the additional features in Crash Plan. Arc Backup is another option for that one.
That's great. We also got a tweet from @LBDWag, hope I said that right, @Patrick Norton. I am sure I am not the first to say this, but copying from a client to a Windows file server over a network does require the ability to write to NTFS. That is only a local disk issue, i.e. boot camp volume while in OS 10. Oh, #TekThing166. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's been so long since I've dealt with OS 10 over networks.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for the heads up. Oh, and we got one last one I want to mention. Tom, aka @DynamoHum, tweets, probably a good idea to buy NAS drives over time from different lots. I had 2 drives die in my Drobo 5M within 2 days, replaced those, and 1 more died. I use dual protection drives.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, he adds, for backups between systems, I use Resilio Sync, and before I show you the Resilio Sync webpage, so the idea is maybe instead of, it's tough, right? Because the idea is like he had a lot of drives, like all 5 drives probably came out of the same box from Amazon or Newegg or wherever they came from, and they all vomited.
Failed.
Yeah, pretty much they had the same exact failure rate, which
that stinks.
Is delightfully predictable.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting idea, like, you know, how much difference, I don't know how many drives, say, Western Digital or Seagate make in a batch, but you would presume that all of the ones in a single batch would behave the same way.
Right.
There is definitely some investigation to be done there. Resilio Sync, if you're not familiar with it, is what BitTorrent Sync became after they split that off. So BitTorrent Sync is really amazing because it uses BitTorrent type technology to work like a Dropbox or a box file where it synchronizes between computers. It's really, really inexpensive. It's really, really fast. Some cases where Dropbox doesn't work particularly well, Resilio Sync will work much better, and I think it's a little more robust.
Yes, absolutely.
Performance on Dropbox is not something I think of fondly. Dropbox could be faster.
Dropbox could be a lot faster. Well, thank you so much for your backup tips. We really, really appreciate them. We absolutely love it when everybody sends in their tips so we can share them with everyone else who watches this show. And of course, that Twitter is @TekThing or ask@tekthing.com. And before we leave for the day, I hope you like our lighting in here. It's gotten a lot better, and hopefully the audio sounds awesome today.
It was very noir before, though.
It was very noir. We had like this vignetting going on. It was kind of cool. Very dramatic, I would say. Very dramatic. But remember, once in a while, put down the phone, step away from the screen, close your laptop, and do something analog, like my example. Make friends with a sea turtle, or a honu, as they call them in Hawaii. So I went to Hawaii to visit my new baby niece with my mom, hence why she's here in the studio with us today. And I had so much fun learning about sea turtles, how you can tell between males and females when they're in the water, and what you can legally do around sea turtles while they're on the beach, basically.
Do not touch the sea turtle.
Don't
Do not
touch
approach
sea
the sea turtle.
turtles.
Do not startle the sea turtle. Do not throw things at the sea turtle.
You can get in big trouble, but I really appreciate the animal protection guys that were hanging out on the beach and teaching us about the culture and the history behind sea turtles and how apparently they used to be eaten back in the day.
No, they were an incredible source of food back in the day.
Yeah.
But I'm not laughing at the animal protection people. I'm laughing because you know there's going to be some jackass who, if the animal protection people weren't there, would walk up and be like, "Look, it's me and Timmy, the sea turtle." But, you know, and the sea turtle's like, "Oh God, oh God."
Funny story on that. You should read my Instagram comment. I will put the link down in the show notes for you. Yeah, there was some drama on the beach that day. It was good times.
Put down the sea turtle, ma'am.
None of that. I think that's about it for today.
Oh my goodness. We'll be back next week with stuff about technology.
Yes, we will.
And technology stuff. Oh my goodness. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing. You didn't get caught touching a sea turtle, did you?
No, I did not. No, we were actually the proper limit amount away from a sea turtle, but basically, like, stay 10 feet away from the sea turtle. Don't touch the sea turtle, and
don't startle the sea turtle.
Yeah, don't startle them. Don't make them move out of their natural habitat, because if you do, you can get fined like 10 grand. At least that's what I was told by the animal protection guys that were working the scene.
Plus, it's really bad carbon.
It's crazy. Yeah, there are a lot of tourists who will just like get all up in its face and take pictures. So luckily I had my zoom lens on me. So I was just sitting, like, I was 10 feet away and I was just like, okay. Like, I was getting great shots of this sea turtle from 10 feet away, and I was just like, I'm chilling here on the beach with the sea turtle. Like, I could not ask for anything more. It was so amazing.
I'm always amazed, like, they started putting signs up in the Jersey Shore that basically do not walk on the dunes, do not dig in the dunes.
Yeah.
Because the dunes, right, they until the storm blows them away, they protect the houses.
Yep.
So it's a big deal about not walking on the dunes. And I walked up, somebody, they were digging out the dune. I'm like, you gotta stop that. And they're like, yeah.